Alright, here is a video review of the ThreeZero MDLX Optimus Prime. It is an action figure. It does not transform, but it's a premium paint, premium finish action figure with Optimus Prime. Here he is, real quick, with the previous release, Bumblebee, just to give you an idea about how much bigger he is. And he's about a standard 6 inches, maybe slightly taller than 6 inches tall. Scale Optimus. And if you have the Bumblebee, you got a pretty good idea of how this goes. He's superposable. He's got like a ball joint there at the bottom of the neck. His head can turn, so he can look up and down. Look around, be Optimus. Dual hinged elbows here. Or not elbows, shoulders. Just shoulders you can see kind of come out with a little cog detail inside the shoulder there. Move up, got a ball joint in the shoulder, the double hinge there to expand out, bicep swivel, dual hinged elbows. I can collapse up pretty decently. Wrist swivel because there's a ball joint at the wrist, so the wrists swap out just like Bumblebees, and you can see these little pieces can fold up as well. Little flaps here on his arm, depending on how it's locks in place once you move it, it can move around there like that. He does have an ab crunch, like a pretty deep ab crunch at that. Just if you crunch him this deep, you have to kind of get back here and kind of make sure it goes back over. It can get stuck sometimes if you go too far forward. But a decent amount of ab crunch, waist swivel, obviously. All of these waist panels can either flip up, or this whole back assembly is one piece. Well, it's not one piece, but it moves as one piece. It's got a ball joint in here and then a ball joint here at this flap, so if you just want to lift it up like that, it can. And then the hips move in all the different directions. The legs can fold all the way back. And this little piece will even collapse in a little bit as you fold it. So once you get the inner knee piece out of the way, you can see that can fold in to allow for movement. These little flaps move out of the way. Full range of rotation in the feet, and then some toe and heel articulation. Actually, maybe just the toe. And then this little flap can get up out of the way and rotate to allow for any kind of foot pose you want. Okay, just pop that out. Let's pop it right back in. And there is how this guy can move. I'm pretty hefty, and like you see, a really nice paint job all around. He's kind of got his spine painted in. Kind of elements from both G1 and the Bumblebee movie, and a lot of different influences. I guess it's 2 that I've listed. Has a little bit of a Dreamwave look to him too. But yeah, cool little Optimus. Feature-wise, he's got a backpack that could be a jetpack, doesn't scream jetpack. I mean, I guess the jets could come out of here, but it doesn't have like nozzles or any attachable flames. It's just an extra little backpack piece that honestly, it plugs in right here. And I think you could even leave that on there and have him look like a nice Prime. It doesn't look like he's wearing a jetpack. It just looks like a more complete Prime, although it does come as a separate piece in the package when you open it. So you can just wear that. Personally, I like the look of it on him. I think it gives him a little bit more definition to the back, but it's up to you. His chest plate is magnetic here and comes off, and there's a matrix that can fit in there. This comes as a separate piece, but it just sits right in there, and you can see the 3 magnets here that magnetically attach, and then you just clip it back into place. And he's got the matrix. He comes with all kinds of hands. Like, he comes with these closed fists. And we'll show these off. He's got, let's see, he's got open hands that can hold weapons, and we'll get to the weapons he can hold in a minute. So he's got a pair of those. He's got another pair of fists like that. There are slightly different poses here. In fact, I may have actually had, yeah, one's more open, you can see, and one's more angled. The fingers are angled forward more from a flat position. Very subtle, but there's a couple pairs of those. He's got trigger holding hands for his gun, where the index finger is actually sculpted to be looking like he's holding the trigger. He's got a pair of just kind of open wait, stop, or hang on jazz hands. And then he's got a pair of move out / date night hands for either side. So you can be like, move out. And we'll show, well, like I said, we'll pop some of those off. But he also comes with a incredibly large rifle in comparison to his robot mode. Like, you can't hold it. You put it in his hand, he has to angle it forward a little bit. A little longer than what I generally think of as Prime's ion rifle, but it looks good. And again, you take the where's that trigger holding hand? You kind of have to. The hands are kind of a softer plastic. You can see it fits right there around the trigger, which looks nice. And he's got one for either side, and you just pop the hand off the ball joint there, and pop the new one on. And then you can hold his rifle, and that's how you swap any hand in. You just pop the hand off the wrist. That's the wrong side. Take whatever hand you want. Pop it on. Well, didn't actually pop it on. All I did was push the ball joint over to the side, which can happen because it's a ball joint. That's the one problem I have with these. Bumblebee had the same issue. There's the first couple of times you put these hands on, they're a little difficult. And if you take them off and leave them off for a while, they kind of tighten back up. But there's a ball joint on this end and then a ball joint in the socket. So if you don't get it on there just right, sometimes instead of actually clipping on, it just pushes the ball joint over. But yeah, that actually is a weird hand though, because the motion itself is fine, but it's that looks awkward, like just the angle of that. So probably won't use that hand that often. I guess maybe if he's reaching out for something, like hand it to me. Okay, that as a hand it to me action, that's not horrible. I thought it was gonna be more of a like a reaching out, grasping, or a halt, stop type of pose, and it really isn't the way it's molded. It's okay, but yeah, but just as a give me your hand and come with me if you want to live hand, it's actually quite a decent pose. It's just wasn't expecting that. And then, like I said, any closed fist, open fist, you can put on it. His other weapon is this axe, and like mine came with like half of this little round piece. There's a separate. It's two pieces. One piece, this side here, is molded as part of the post, and this piece is a separate piece that was on it. That was loose in the box, and I thought that meant that maybe these came off to slide through a hand because of this piece down here, and that's not the case. If you want to put it in the hand, that's a trigger hand. You do have to kind of pry the fingers open. And again, it's a softer plastic, and as long as you don't you don't have to pull it that far. As long as you just don't rip this thing open, you should be fine. But having to do that and maybe stress the plastic worries me a little bit. But you can do that, and then you gotta kind of wait a second for it to reform itself so it holds it tightly. But yeah, you can put the axe in a hand. And you can kind of squeeze it back together as well to help it, but put that in his hand, and then come on. Yeah. Nope. There we go. Nope. That one really felt like it was on. There we go. There we go. Nope. There we go. So he can hold his axe and his rifle. At the same time, he does have the range where if you wanted to, and I don't feel like popping on two hands, he can get into a position where you can get his arms out and about, where he can dual hand the axe if you want. I'm not, like I said, I don't want to have to fight the hand back on, but you can. We'll go ahead and snip it on here if we can do it without. There we go. You can have him dual hand the axe if you want. But all in all, it's a nice prime. It goes very well with the Bumblebee. That has come out. I don't know if they've announced the next one in this line yet. I'll have to keep an eye out for that. Because I remember seeing Optimus when Bumblebee came out. And I don't know if they've announced who's coming next. I'm assuming it's going to be Megatron or Starscream, just based on the big four that companies usually do. It's usually Optimus and Bumblebee, Megatron and Starscream, and then we'll get to other characters. So we'll see. My guess would be a Bumblebee or a Starscream next. Not a Bumblebee, a Starscream or a Megatron. We already have a Bumblebee, because there he is. Anyway, it's a lot of fun. It's very cool. Thank you to ThreeZero for sending it along to check out, because I'm actually like more into this line than I thought I was going to be. And they make cool little display pieces. But there is MDLX Optimus Prime from ThreeZero.